So the time I'm recording this is the 3rd of January, and I'm planning to get my full game out by the end of January. And I wanted to just basically use this video as a way to basically share what I probably would have done to sort of restart if I were to redo the game that I'm currently making, Scarred Steel. So one of the most difficult things I think for this has been going with the story-rich game. Now, story-rich games I don't have a problem with, and I think there's plenty of really good story-rich games out there. My silly idea was thinking, well, lots of story-rich games that I play, such as like Heads Will Roll Reforged, really good story, but it's majorly text, right? Trying to describe what's there. Wouldn't it be a good idea if I could use images, that I make, for example, with ChatGPT, to help visually show what's happening, right? And that was a interesting idea to start with, and we basically went into it. And I didn't really have much of a process or system as to how I was going to do that. And I've been making images for the game since June, and it's now July. And I've got about, just under 30 days until I want to release this full game, and I haven't even finished the story in terms of the images. I've still got three, I guess, sub stories of images for the game to make in terms of cutscenes and such like that. But I've even still got to make character portraits in terms of the character static static stance in terms of them holding the weapon, and then ideally an attack stance where they've almost swung the weapon. So ideally I get the code to switch between them when they attack and it defaults back. Point being is that I've had such a massive amount of images to make, but again, it's like, just because I make the image, if it doesn't do the image the way I want it to, I need to get it to redo it. And so sometimes I have multiple instances where either the art style of the image is off, or the image didn't include the right character, and it's been a really big hassle. And I think if I had started this and I hadn't gone for a story-rich game, I probably would have saved myself a lot of stress and a lot of time where I wouldn't just have to make images a lot of the time. That said, I don't think I would have learnt that without doing this, and I think once I've actually got the game out, I think it'll just be at least good to have that first project done. I'm not really expecting much from the game, if I'm honest. I don't really have any feedback on it other than one person who left a nice comment saying it was cool, or at least the part that he played on the demo. Um, so I'm not really expecting it to go anywhere. I think for me, at least, it's more of just the first project to say, hey, look, this is out there. If you like it, great. That's pretty much about it. So again, I think that's really the main thing. And it's funny because I can sit here and I can think, oh, well, I wish I would have had a better process to start with. I wish I would have had a clearer system, a clearer set of instructions. But when I really think about it, back in June when I first thought of this idea to make a game pretty much majorly using AI, there was no way I could have really came up with a bit of a process or a system without doing things, right? Without actually taking action and trying to figure things out. Now, what I wish I would have done is figured out about and learnt about Cursor back in June. I only learned about Cursor within the last sort of month or so. Cursor, for reference, is pretty much done for you coding where you tell AI what you want it to do and what you want it to edit, and it has direct access to your scripts, and it goes and edits scripts and makes new scripts. It's not perfect, but it's pretty damn good. So that's pretty much what I will say. But that's pretty much what I will say for this. I think again, what probably mattered the most is just being able to take action. I think now that I have an idea of what's working, what's not, what was a good idea, and what wasn't. I think really from there, it's just going to be using that experience for the second game, and hopefully I can make the second game a lot better.